Yeah,
still
100.
making $1,200 every time he goes. Every time he does that, he makes $1,200. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Ian. That is your host, Joe. And welcome to the BS Buddies podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Switched it up on you there. Yeah, you thought I forgot about that, didn't you? Not this time. Not this time. Today, we've got ourselves a wonderful topic that I know absolutely nothing about, but I'm going to be, in
Enli-
essence, reacting to? Is that the
enlightened
right word?
by.
Enlightened by? I don't know if enlightened is the word I would use because I
Uh,
will not feel light or happy or any sort of
I
joy from
think
any
more
of these,
pissed
I'm sure.
off.
Probably. Probably will.
Today,
What
we
are we
are
talking about?
talking about crazy sports contracts. And especially with the Shohei Ohtani signing for the Los Angeles Dodgers, that's going to be a main topic point. We will go into that. I also have some NFL and NBA contracts. I won't just stick with baseball this time because you guys know how much I love doing that. But I'm
You
gonna
branch out.
I'm gonna lead the way this time, and Ian will just like he said, kind of react. We'll talk it out as a spectator, and I'll try and explain why it makes sense to a degree. Okay, so the first one, Ian, the big one that happened just this offseason for baseball is Shohei Ohtani. Do you know anything about Shohei Ohtani?
Isn't he the Japanese baseball player who came over to the States and got signed on by whichever team he went with that you said 30 seconds ago that I don't remember?
Yes. He played for the Angels, and then as soon as his contract ran out, he was smart and said, "I'm not playing for the Angels because they're garbage." Then he signed with the Dodgers, and he got signed for 10 years, $700 million.
Seven, oh, what,
$700 million.
$700 million.
700 million, yes.
So every year for a decade, he's getting $70 million.
No, he's not. This is where it gets crazy. So, yeah, you're gonna love this. Um,
What?
so, so how the deal is structured for for the 10 years, he will, I believe, for the 10 years, he will get paid $2 million, and the remaining money that he's owed, he will get paid after his contract is up, and he'll get paid for the next decade after the remaining total.
Wait a minute. So he's only getting like 2 million for the 10 years, or he's getting 2 million a year for 10 years, and then whatever's left over is his
That.
essentially pension.
So, yeah, every year he's going to get paid $2 million until the 10 years are up. And then the money that he didn't take right away is being deferred. So he'll get paid like I don't know the math, like the 68 million a year from uh, 2034 to 2044.
Oh yeah, so he's taking 20 million up front to turn around and get a hefty, hefty paycheck on the back end. Is that really? There's 700 million. Is it really 700 million?
700 million, yes.
100, not 70, 700.
700,000,000.
That is an insane amount of money. What position does this dude even play? Is he a pitcher?
That's the kicker. He is a pitcher and a hitter, and he's straight up the he's the greatest baseball player of all time. He can throw 100 miles an hour. He can pitch complete games. He can hit bombs. He's the new version of Babe Ruth, but a lot better.
Oh, good. I was gonna say, for that amount of money, he better be able to get a perfect no hitter for every game from his contract to the day he gets out of that sucker.
Okay,
Like,
not quite that, but uh,
no, exactly that. 700 million? Are you kidding
oh,
me?
just wait. He
How
also
many
can
games?
He
How many
also
games?
cannot pitch this year because he had Tommy John surgery. So he will just be a hitter for the first year. And what this does, why the contract is set up like this, it's brilliant, first of all, because one, he gets paid it's either 30 million or 50 million in endorsements per year. Like he has a big deal with New Balance, and he's making almost what he would anyway. So what that does is takes payroll capital off the Dodgers so they can go sign more people, which that's all they've done this offseason. So the Dodgers have spent so much money that they're into, like, I can't quite remember what it's called, but it's basically the income tax bracket. Like if you spend so much over payroll, you pay so much over. So now for they signed someone I think for 11 million, but because they're over that threshold, they have to pay $1 more in taxes per dollar that they spend. So they signed someone for 11 million, but they're really paying like 23 million.
Oh, you gotta love tax brackets and loopholes. You
That's how
spend enough
crazy it's
money, you get
been.
to be in a bigger tax bracket. So instead, let's hire this guy for X amount, but actually pay him this amount, and the loopholes and the upside
Well,
downies, the
the
lefty
thing is, it's
loopsies.
not a loophole. They're paying double just in taxes. Like they're paying the player 11 million and they're paying taxes 11 million roughly. That's how much they've spent. They've gone to that threshold and gone past it. So then they're like, we gotta stop you right
We,
there.
we gotta we gotta we gotta quit this. The wallet is starting to get a little threadbare. There's not enough money being left over in here. I'm seeing a thing on my phone here that says there's an average of 160 games
Yep,
per
162.
MLB. 162, really? That's
Once,
a lot of games.
yeah. Some
Let's look
people
up the
want it shortened.
average number of pitches per game.
I could just tell you.
Sure.
I don't know what the actual amount is for starting pitchers, but I would say between 85 and 100 pitches per game. And if you're fully healthy, you're making 30 to 35 starts a year. But with Ohtani, you're getting those 30 to 35 starts as a top 5 pitcher, but as a hitter, you're also getting a top 5 hitter who just destroys the competition. Like, if you look at Ohtani, he doesn't look like he has a lot of power, but oh my goodness, can this dude hit. In Japan, he hit a ball through the ceiling of the stadium.
I did see that clip. I did see
It
that
was like a
clip. It goes up and then
510
just
foot homer. That
and then just boop, right through the ceiling and it's gone. Okay, so I had to look this up as a side note just for my sanity, for the math. But at
okay.
20 million a year, or excuse me, 20 million over 10 years, 2 million a year, at 162 games with an average of 146 pitches a game, not accounting for any time he steps up to the plate.
146 pitches per game?
Yes, that was the average.
That I th- okay, that
That was the first
so
one I
that's
saw. Well,
probably with relievers. Your starter
whatever.
is not going to throw
Well,
146.
then it's gonna be even bigger because even if we took this number and we like let's say we went
I,
by 100, he's
yeah,
still
100.
making $1,200 every time he goes. Every time he does that, he makes $1,200. That is
that
insane. I
I
wish I could. I could make a lot of money if all I had to do was go. I don't even have to do it good. I just go wham, and it'll. As
uh,
long as that ball gets downfield somehow.
I guarantee if you're not great at it, you're not getting 20 million or 2 million a year.
I'll set up a pitching machine. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna use them cybernetic augmentations to throw a perfect pitch every single
So
time.
so just just so everyone knows the difference between like someone like the league minimum that you have to pay a professional baseball player versus Ohtani. Let's just go with the 70 million a year. Let's just say he got it all. He's getting it yearly for 10 years. 70 million. The minimum dollar amount for an MLB player, and this is the last number I've seen. It could be different. 720,000. Not even a million.
That's the minimum.
That's league minimum for a professional ball player. But then you go into AAA, so right before the majors, and it's like $65,000.
But wow, that's quite a jump.
Yeah.
That's quite a jump.
But I mean, that's like all-star, top of the line talent. And then I'd say it's so tough to know, like, at least for me offhand, what the average is, because I'm a big Twins fan, as you can see. And we got Carlos Correa, who we're paying $33 million a year for. Then we got a lot of rookies, so we just pay them league minimum. And then you got your $10 million Max Kepler. You got, I don't know how much Byron Buxton gets paid, but too much to be hurt. And I won't go.
I just gotta say that, like, even 700,000 is a nice chunk of change. For like, is it that? I'm guessing that's like a yearly salary type
per year.
Yeah, 700 grand is living comfortably. By no means.
That's top 1%.
Yeah, and that's the minimum that you can get.
But you have to be. There's certain requirements you have to be. I think you have to be on the 40-man roster and have MLB playing time. But anyways, getting a little too far into that, we have some other contracts. Well, I have some other contracts that I want Ian to hear. Have you ever heard of Bobby Bonilla Day? This is my favorite. Yeah, I know you're not going to. But Bobby Bonilla played on the Mets. He last played in 2001, and the Mets are still paying him $1.19 million per year since 2001, and will not stop until 2035. Bobby Bonilla Day, July 1st. My favorite holiday.
Bobby Milli Vanilli? What? Why is he getting paid a couple million a year and he's not even playing? Last time he played was over 2 decades ago. I was 4. I was 4 years old.
Yes. Yeah. He is 60. He'll be 72 when the payments end.
Set up a really good 401k. Whoever his broker was did a great work setting up your bro with some favors, man, because I got to know how to get on that program. 1.9 million.
They have some other ones here too, but one player who's currently playing who has deferred money, I mean, there's a lot of them. The most ridiculous one is Teoscar Hernandez, who just signed with the Dodgers. He's getting paid $23 million per year, but he deferred most of it. He's getting paid $8 million this year, and then the rest is deferred over like a decade. So he's playing 1 year with the team, but will get paid 11 years.
Yeah, for the rest of his. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. $8 million in a single year. I could take a $1 million salary and be perfectly happy and be like, yeah, nah, bro, stretch that crap out for like the next 15 years of my life. I don't want to work at it.
So the other ones I got, the Cincinnati Reds, this is their last year paying Ken Griffey Jr. $3.6 million each year since 2009. So this is the last year. The Red Sox have paid Manny Ramirez about $2 million each year since 2011 and will not stop until 2026. St. Louis Cardinals began paying Matt Holliday his deferred salary in 2020. And he will get $1.5 million until 2029. And this, I won't read all of them, but this one's kind of crazy. The Red Sox will pay Rafael Devers, their current third baseman, $7.5 million annually from 2034 to 2043, thanks to his 11-year, $331 million contract that included $75 million in a deferred payment.
That I just even hearing about that is insane. What do we know what the longest paying, not even necessarily MLB, just longest paying sports contract of all
It's
time
it's
has
probably
been?
Bobby Bonilla, honestly. I haven't heard of anything remotely close.
I
Someone
gotta say
getting
from
paid 25
2007.
million or 25 years past his playing days. And I know Francisco Lindor, the current shortstop of the Mets, he's going to get paid until like 2045, and he's like 30 years old right now. So he'll be done playing within 10 years probably and then get paid. And it's like 30 million a year, I believe. Like it's
And did these
ridiculous.
and did these guys get any kind of royalties at all? Because
Like
obviously, their names get plastered on jerseys and all sorts of memorabilia and stuff that gets sold out to fans. So, do they get any royalties that's included with all of that?
so like I said with Shohei Ohtani, he has a deal with New Balance, so that's why he's getting like that's why he'll live comfortably getting paid 2 million a year. But these guys can take deals like if Nike wants to sponsor them, New Balance, Adidas, Under Armour, they can make extra money like anyone can.
Okay, that is on the side
So
thing. I didn't know
that
if that
that's
was like a
just being so that dollar amount is just being paid to play. And then a lot of them have incentives or bonuses attached to it. Like if you get this certain number of strikeouts or this many hits, like I know for Carlos Correa, he signed a 6-year deal with an option for a 7th year. And if he hits certain criteria, his $200 million deal could be a $270 million deal. And I got one more because I just thought of it. Bobby Witt Jr. He just signed an extension for the Royals. Young, like he's younger than us, shortstop. His deal is 288 million per year for 11 years, with an option for 14 years and 377 mil or 388 mil. And he's
I don't
getting,
even.
I think it's like he gets paid 2 million this year, 7 million the next, and then it keeps going up until it's at like 30.
I don't even
But
have words for that.
that's okay. We'll move on to NFL. I know we spent a lot of time on baseball, but baseball, I think everyone can agree they have the most outrageous contracts. The first one for the NFL got to be Patrick Mahomes. I didn't realize how much he was getting paid. This You're gonna hate this. 10 years,
Boy,
which ends in 2031. He gets paid 45 million per year.
45 million a year for 10 years. So yeah, he's gonna have
450
what's
million. So not
yeah,
Otani, but that's
yeah,
still
that
like Otani will play 150 games a year. Mahomes with playoffs will play like 20, 21. I don't know how many exactly, but and
it
he
is
only
rather
plays for
insane to
3 months in the year. Granted, I know you got your warm ups and all that, but
I no, honestly, screw him. I think any sports contract,
screw him.
dude, you look at these guys. They are getting paid insane amounts of money to play a game. And yeah, one could argue, oh, well, they're very difficult games with a lot of skill. That's true. They do take a lot of skill. I could not walk out on a pitching mound and throw a perfect game. God no. I'd probably
I've
get
been
hit in the head
trying.
I'd get hit in the forehead in the first inning and I'd be out for the count for like the next 4 years. However, these guys have made a living playing a sport to the point where, like I was saying, they can go woof and get paid thousands of dollars for it. Why couldn't I have been born with some innate talent for sports, huh? Why couldn't I have been born for some proclivity to huck a little potato-shaped ball yards and yards and yards away, man? This sucks.
Uh, the
Ugh.
the next NFL one is Joe Burrow of the Bengals, quarterback. A 5-year deal through, and it'll end in 29. 55 million a year. So he's getting paid more yearly. Um, and then Justin Herbert is 52 and a half mil per year. 52 and a half per year. 52 mil per year for Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts, 51 million. Russell Wilson's getting paid way too much. um,
No, who negotiates these contracts, right? Because it's not like these
it's
guys are
the
coming
agent.
out of the.
They have
It's
an
not
agent.
like these right, but it's not like these guys are coming out of the gate. You know, they're collegiate athletes, and obviously, I'm sure they did well in their respective colleges. Blah, 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 blah. However you want to do it, they do well coming out of the gate. But I mean, like, it seems like every year they bring in these quote unquote rookies, quote unquote new guys, and then they get signed on for these multi-million-dollar contracts for like the next decade of their lives. And it's like, you don't know if that guy has any good experience with this yet. You don't know if he's going to have like one good season and then just down the crapper for the rest of his time. But yet you got to pay him that amount of money just to show up? That is nuts. That's
Well,
what I need in my.
well,
That's what I
not.
need my one of them agents to get out there and start negotiating your wage when you get hired in a new job. Yeah, I want to start for 35 an hour, sir.
I,
This is a Burger King.
um, so you're pulling me back into baseball with that comment. Padres, San Diego Padres are a perfect example of that, Ian. They have 3 guys who are signed there for the next decade, roughly 300 million a year apiece. Like Machado, Bogarts, and Tatis all signed like $300 million deals for like 10 to 13 years each. Like it's not super out there yet, but the Padres might be under some hot water here because people are questioning how do they have this much money. So just be if you're interested, if you see stuff about the Padres going bankrupt, you heard it from me. But
Heard it here
last
first, folks.
last one, which we'll we'll do some NBA ones. The uh, top one it's saying, at least right now, is Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics, who I think as soon as he signed this deal, I didn't hear much from him at all. 5-year, $304 million supermax extension. So 304 divided by 5. I don't know that math. I'll do it right now.
Numbers 60
Um,
ish.
yeah, 60.8 mil per year. Then you got Steph Curry, who's making 52 mil a year. You got Jokic, I think that's how you say it. 48 mil a year. James, same. Embiid, same. Bradley Beal, he's making bank. Yeah, there's
There's quite a lot of
the
money that gets
the
tied up into athletes in these
um
franchises. What I'm hearing.
I am down to the top. Okay, the top 18 are getting paid 40 million or more per year in the NBA each.
You know, we know what the league minimum is for baseball. What do you happen to know what the league minimum is for any of the other major sports franchises out
I
there?
can
Is it
look
in
them up right now if
roughly the
you.
same neck of the woods? Because I'm telling you what, while you look that up, I just got to say, I imagine that it's got to be pretty comfortable to be like the guys on the team who were, good enough to make the cut, but they're not the starters. They're not the star players. Because I mean, you got to think you made it, right? You were considered good enough to play on an all-star team. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, this is the professional leagues. You're here. You made it. You might not be a starter, but you made it, and you get paid fat cash every year to sit on a bench
The
and
one
show up to training sessions.
the one thing with baseball that's got to be a great thing is a bullpen catcher. If you don't know what that is, like the pitchers warm up in the bullpen. There's usually two or three catchers that only catch to warm up pitchers. They're not professional baseball players. Their job is to be in the dugout, and whenever someone needs to get warmed up, you catch their warm ups, and that's your job. That's it. You don't.
I would do that. I don't even catch well. I would do that.
So
Beat
I
me in the forehead. I got a helmet.
so I got the two stats for the NFL. As a rookie, you get 750,000, and for your first year, it was like 870 mil per year. With the NBA, which I'm shocked. Well, I guess they play more games. 1.1 million per year as a rookie, and then it jumps to 1.8 million. And for both of those, that's league minimum.
Yeah, imagine being the guy who's just good enough to make the team, but you're mostly just a bench warmer. You're getting paid that amount of money to just sit there and be like, "Hey, nice job out there, man. Yeah, hey, good on that starting hop. Hey, way to catch him on that 3-pointer line." Like you just there as a hype man for everybody else, but you pulling in that kind of money for it.
I
I could
also
do it.
I also love how there's a few guys in the MLB who are super huge contracts, and they are very vocal about how much they dislike baseball. Straight up. There's one guy who got a 9-figure contract, and he's been hurt constantly. And the beginning of last season, the very first game, he got into it with an opposing team's fan and like wanted to fight him.
So it sounds like this man's getting beat up just to keep his income coming in. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I can't play. I'm injured.
yeah,
Oh.
like him and there's one other guy who was hurt last year, and all I heard was they probably don't care. Like they don't want to play anyway.
I'm sure they don't. Yeah, I'm sure they don't give a hoot what they're doing. I mean, they're pulling in that kind of money, and you don't even got to play. So, yeah, my ankle's a little sore. I got mysteriously run over 5 times by my brother after I made this contract, and I can't play. So that's a bummer. You know, just pulling in this money.
Oh, I could definitely do an episode about weird injuries that have happened. But I should probably stop talking about baseball. I know I said I wouldn't touch too much on it, and I didn't really touch NFL or NBA much. I don't know hockey. I didn't look that up because I've never heard of them being super ridiculous, especially because that's a super physical sport. And
Yeah, if we're being honest, if anything, NHL players should be taking home the fat contracts, dude. Those guys are
they
rolling
deserve
around in like 20 pounds of gear, hitting each other, and they've got knives on their feet. On top of it, they
it.
got knives on their feet. They're basically flinging a little rock at each other at 100 miles an hour, and they get to slam into each other. Those should be the dudes taking home the $700 million contracts, not a guy who gets up and stands on a mound for an
Oh,
hour and a half, goes woof, and
don't-
then stands up and goes kabink, and he runs around, gives a little wave to the crowd. Oh, Gatorade bottle. Nobody. Yeah.
I've had my time talking about baseball. I'm not gonna fight you, but I really want to right now.
I know. That's why I did it.
I know.
Makes me
We're
feel
we're
good.
gonna do quotes before I get mad at Ian. Um,
Fun times.
I'll go.
Have you?
I'll go with mine. Of course, if I'm talking baseball and we're doing quotes, I gotta do Yogi Berra. 100%. All
Hey,
the
boo
time.
boo.
Mine is always go to other people's funerals. Otherwise, they won't come to yours.
But if you're going to their funeral, how are they?
It's Yogi Berra for you.
Indeed. Well, you know what? I don't have mine is not as fun as that one. Mine is life is a journey with big rocks to climb, little ones to trip over, and milestones to mark where we have been. Which I have to say, if you're seeing a milestone that marks where you've already been, you might be going in circles and it might be time to come up with a new plan, buddy, because clearly whatever you're doing ain't working.
But thank you for BSing with us today. Subscribe or follow down below and become a bud today. And see you next time. Or we won't see you next time if we sign a giant professional contract.
We won't see you next time when we sign our multi-million-dollar 10-year contract so that I can live out the rest of my days. And every now and again, they have me flick a little paper football across the office into a field goal.
Hey, maybe we'll get an endorsement for $3 million for this podcast. If you have any inquiries, the emails on the page.
In the description.
Not in the description, but on the channel page.
On the channel page. Alrighty, well, take her easy now.